You walk into IKEA with one simple mission: buy a bookshelf. That's it. No new pillows, no scented candles, no storage boxes, no extra kitchen glasses you definitely did not plan to buy. But 1 hour later, you are pushing a cart filled with things you never came for. And somehow, it still feels completely reasonable. That is not an accident. That is design. IKEA is not just a furniture store. It is one of the most carefully engineered shopping experiences in modern retail. And the most powerful thing IKEA sells is not a chair, a table, or a bed. It sells a journey that starts with a simple need and ends with a much longer receipt than you expected. Most stores are designed to help you find what you want as quickly as possible. If you want shoes, you go to the shoe section. If you want electronics, you go to electronics. You walk in, find the item, pay, and leave. IKEA does something very different. When you enter IKEA, you do not just enter a store, you enter a path. A long, winding, carefully guided path. There are arrows on the floor, signs above your head, rooms arranged like real apartments, living rooms, bedrooms, kitchens, dining spaces, children's rooms, storage corners. And before you even reach the checkout, you have walked through almost the entire store. So the real question is not, why is IKEA so big? The real question is, why does IKEA want you to walk through it this way? The answer is simple, but very clever. IKEA does not only design furniture. IKEA designs behavior. Its stores are built around one key business idea. The longer customers stay inside, the more products they see. The more products they see, the more needs they discover. And the more needs they discover, the more they buy. That sounds obvious, but IKEA turns this idea into an entire retail system. The store is not organized only for convenience. It is organized to influence movement, attention, emotion, and decision-making. Every turn matters. Every room matters. Every small product near the path matters. IKEA understands something many brands forget. Customers do not always know what they want until you show them a better version of their life. This is why IKEA stores often feel like a maze. Not because the company made a mistake, but because the maze is the strategy. The main path pushes you forward. It makes turning back feel inconvenient. It makes skipping sections slightly harder. And it makes wandering feel natural. You may think you are browsing freely, but in reality, your journey has already been designed. You are being guided from one idea to the next, from one room to another, from one possible lifestyle to another. You do not simply walk through product categories, you walk through stories. A cozy living room, a small apartment that somehow feels spacious, a kitchen that looks cleaner than yours, a bedroom that feels calmer than the one you woke up in. And, little by little, the store starts doing something powerful. It changes the question in your mind. You stop asking, "Do I need this product?" And you start asking, "Could my home feel like this?" There is another reason the maze works so well. Inside many IKEA stores, it is surprisingly easy to lose track of time. There are often few windows, the lighting is controlled, the path keeps moving, the rooms keep changing. You are not constantly reminded of the outside world. This makes the experience feel less like shopping and more like visiting an exhibition. You walk, you look, you touch, you sit down, you open drawers, you imagine. Time becomes softer, And when people stop feeling rushed, they become more open to buying. A candle does not feel like a financial decision. A storage box does not feel like a big purchase. A lamp does not feel like a plan. It just feels like a good idea. And that is the genius of IKEA. It makes extra purchases feel casual, small, logical, almost inevitable. If customers could walk straight to the item they wanted, many of them would buy only that item. A desk, a chair, a shelf, then leave. But IKEA does not want a straight line. IKEA wants discovery. So instead of sending you directly to the desk section, the store may lead you through living rooms, kitchens, wardrobes, decorations, and storage solutions first. Each section becomes a chance to trigger a hidden need. Maybe you came for a desk, but then you see a better lighting setup, then a chair that matches, then a cable organizer, then a small plant that makes the whole workspace feel warmer. By the time you reach what you came for, your original need has expanded. You no longer want a desk, you want a better workspace. That is a very different purchase, and usually a much bigger one. One of IKEA's strongest weapons is the showroom. This is where the company moves from selling furniture to selling imagination. A traditional furniture store might place all sofas in one area, all tables in another, and all lamps somewhere else. That is logical. But it forces customers to do the hard work. They have to imagine what each item would look like in a real home. IKEA removes that burden. It builds the room for you. A sofa is not just displayed as a sofa. It is placed in a full living room, with a rug, a coffee table, a lamp, a shelf, a few books, some plants, a blanket thrown casually over the armrest. Suddenly, you are not looking at furniture. You are looking at a life that feels organized, warm, stylish, affordable, close enough to reality that you believe you can have it too. This is where IKEA becomes extremely powerful. It shifts customers from need to desire. You may need a chair, but you desire a beautiful corner of your home. You may need a cabinet, but you desire a cleaner, calmer living space. You may need a bed frame, but you desire a bedroom that feels like a fresh start. IKEA understands that people rarely buy furniture only because they need objects. They buy furniture because they want their life to feel different, more organized, more adult, more beautiful, more under control. That is why the showroom matters. It turns individual products into emotional outcomes. And once customers emotionally enter that room, buying one item often feels incomplete. If the sofa looks great with that rug, why not get the rug? If the desk looks better with that lamp, why not add the lamp? If the storage unit makes the whole room cleaner, maybe that is the real solution. IKEA does not need to aggressively upsell. The room does the selling. As you move through IKEA, you encounter hundreds of small moments. A drawer that slides perfectly, a tiny kitchen that somehow stores everything, a narrow bedroom that still feels calm, a wardrobe that makes your closet at home seem chaotic. These moments create a quiet psychological effect. You begin comparing your current home to the IKEA version of your home, and your current home starts losing. That messy corner you ignored yesterday suddenly becomes a problem. That old lamp suddenly feels outdated. That pile of random items near your door suddenly needs a storage solution. IKEA is not just showing you products, it is revealing problems. And once a problem becomes visible, the solution is already sitting right in front of you, with a price tag. This is also why IKEA is so good at selling small items. The big furniture may be the reason you came in, but the smaller products often make the receipt grow. Cushions, candles, hangers, boxes, kitchen tools, towels, glassware, decorative lights. Each item is cheap enough to feel harmless. No single product feels like a major decision, but together they become serious revenue. This is the beauty of low-friction buying. A customer might hesitate before buying a sofa, but a set of storage boxes? Easy. A few candles? Why not? A pack of glasses? Useful. A small lamp? Looks nice. IKEA surrounds the customer with dozens of these small, easy decisions after already putting them in a mood of home improvement. By then, buying feels less like spending and more like solving. Then comes one of the most interesting parts of the IKEA journey. After walking through beautiful rooms and carefully designed spaces, you arrive at the self-service warehouse. The mood changes completely. The dream becomes practical. High ceilings, metal racks, cardboard boxes, product codes, aisles, flat packs, pallets, industrial lighting. This space does not feel like a showroom anymore, it feels like a warehouse. And that is exactly the point. The showroom inspires you. The warehouse convinces you that the price is fair. Because when customers see simple packaging, self-service racks, and flat-packed boxes, they feel the business is saving costs. And if the business is saving costs, the customer feels they are getting a better deal. The warehouse becomes part of IKEA's price story. It silently says, "This is affordable because we made the system efficient." But IKEA goes even further. In most furniture stores, the company does more of the work. They assemble, they deliver, they prepare. IKEA asks the customer to do more. You find the product, you lift the box, you take it home, you assemble it yourself. At first, that sounds like a disadvantage, but psychologically, it can become an advantage. There is a famous idea often connected to IKEA called the IKEA Effect. It means people tend to value things more when they have helped create them. When you assemble a table yourself, it becomes more than just a table. It becomes your table. You struggled with it, you followed the instructions, you tightened the screws, you turned separate pieces into something usable, and because you invested effort, you feel more attached to the result. This is brilliant from a business perspective. IKEA reduces labor, storage, and transportation costs. The customer does part of the work. But instead of feeling cheated, the customer often feels more ownership. IKEA turns effort into attachment. Of course, there is a risk. If a store makes customers walk too much without giving them value, people get frustrated. A maze can feel manipulative. A long path can feel exhausting. A forced journey can make customers angry. So, why does IKEA get away with it? Because the maze is not empty. It gives customers something in return: ideas, inspiration, solutions, affordable design, rooms they can imagine living in, products they can touch, spaces they can explore. The walk is long, but it feels useful. That is the key. IKEA does not just increase time in store, it increases quality time in store. The customer is not only walking, they are collecting ideas. And when people feel they are gaining value, they are more willing to stay. The IKEA maze teaches a bigger lesson about business. Great companies do not only design products, they design decisions. They think about what customers see first, what they feel next, what problem becomes visible, what solution appears at the perfect moment, what action feels easy, what purchase feels justified. IKEA's real innovation is not just cheap furniture. It is the way the company connects space, psychology, logistics, and emotion into one system. The store layout creates discovery. The showrooms create desire. The warehouse creates trust in the price. The flat pack model creates operational efficiency. The assembly process creates emotional ownership. Every piece supports the next. That is what makes IKEA so powerful. It is not one trick. It is an ecosystem. So the next time you walk into IKEA and feel like you are trapped in a never-ending path, remember this: you are not lost. You are exactly where IKEA wants you to be. Every turn is part of the business model. Every room is a silent sales pitch. Every small product is placed at the right moment. Every cardboard box tells a story about value. And every piece of furniture you assemble at home makes you feel a little more connected to what you bought. IKEA does not simply sell tables, chairs, and shelves. It sells the feeling that your home could be better, more beautiful, more organized, more intentional. And the maze is how IKEA gets you to see that possibility. You came in looking for one bookshelf, but IKEA made you walk through an entire version of the life you might want. That is why the maze works, not because it traps you, but because it makes you imagine. And in business, imagination is one of the most profitable things a brand can sell.